Hi, and welcome back to the shop. My name is Mark. That's the BetsyRoss Jeep project, and you're on the Malarkey Taylor channel. That's the word I'm looking for. When we left off last time, I think we were installing some windows and trying to get this going, so that's where we are now. We have the passenger side window in, and it's functional, but we discovered that there is a hole or a broken wire right there when we were trying to put the speakers in. So I don't have a lot of time tonight, but one of the things I noticed I'm going to work on right now is I noticed that this window is a little bit slow going up and down. So let's show you what that looks like. So it's just a little bit creepy and slow going up, and then a little faster, a little smoother going down. So I think what that might be is that might be just a little bit of worn outness in there. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to put some dielectric grease in there. I'm just going to kind of stick this in that thing and dispense a little bit, and then run the window up and down a couple of times. Is this advisable? I have no idea. Will it help? I have no idea. But you're along to find out. Let's see. Oh, doesn't seem to have helped yet. It might be going down faster. Well, it didn't make it worse, so we'll see how that goes. Next thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get this harness out of here. Got to take this kick panel out and pull the connectors from in there. I'm going to try to take the whole door harness out and see if I can splice those wires back together. These door harnesses are kind of a pain. You have to really close working quarters here, and you have to get these wires all done, and there's 3 or 4 different plugs. So this one down here is a plug right there, and then there's one coming down from the top. I don't know if y'all can see. Let me do that. Yeah, I'm gonna move you guys over here. See if you can see. And this guy from the top, kind of a pain. I don't like doing this, but it's impossible to fix these without taking it out. So there we go. And this one over here. And then that's all of them. And then this is a rubber grommet that comes in from the other side. You have to kind of push it through. This area of the car gets a lot of water on the outside because the tire's right there. So you got to try to make sure that these rubbers don't break. There we go. Okay. We're taking it through here. I'm trying to get it out of this guy. Where are you guys going? Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stay here with me. Yeah, somebody's been here before. Oh, we've got 1, 2, yeah, at least 2 broken wires there. Boy, that one guy's broken in like 3 places. Oh, here you go. Okay. Some of these can actually break in the sheathing. Oh my. What are we dealing with here? That's definitely speaker wire. Oh. That's weird. Okay, so some of these things had, yeah, there's the wire for it up there. This is can you see? This is a connector for a tweeter that used to go in that could go, it was an option, you could buy it from a dealer, that could go up there. So this thing must have been a splice in the door. That might not have been somebody in there messing around. That could have been factory. Oh, that's disappointing. Alright, so this, maybe I need to take this whole harness out. Just pull the whole thing. Get it out where I can work on it. Let's do that. That seems to be the trick. Pull the harness all the way out of the door. Maybe even take this part down. I don't know. It seems like it's pretty easy to get to here. And then we find all of our broken wires and we splice them. What I like to do is I like to cut them here and there and then splice a new piece in so that it's not in the curve, because when that door closes, it's working it. So I'll put a splice up in the harness and then down in the car so that I have a length of new wire in there. And I often try to find the right color wire to try to match it going through, but as long as you do one at a time and just match either end, it's okay. And then I wrap it tight with black wire or electrical tape so that they all move as a series instead of just, you know, in tandem. I don't know if that helps or not, but it has seemed to continue working on mine up in the other room, which has done the same thing before. So I'm gonna get to it. We'll see you guys in some time. So what I like to do when I'm dealing with something like this where it has corroded and creased and broken is I'll take a long piece and I'll strip a long piece of the wire off so you can see where the corrosion starts to get cleared up and where you start to get some good wire. So what I like to do is just take a long strip of it and then I'll cut it off right in here where that corrosion and that grossness ends, if I can. This one here, this side, I'm running up against this boot where I don't have a whole lot of options, but it's starting to clean up there at the end. I don't know if you can see that. But I can't go much further or else I won't be able to get my splice in there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work out here and then put a piece of wire in between those two. That should hopefully get us for a while before we have to deal with it again. Yeah, so I was looking at this. They definitely did this wrong. This is just a splicer. This is a factory splice. 2 wires in that side, 1 wire in that way. And it comes up here to this tweeter for the other. It's like an upfitting option where you get the premium sound. You can get extra speakers that come in here. They're really rare, but there are some out there. I've seen them. And that package then uses this plug, which this package doesn't. But there's a splice kit right here. You see one there and one there, and it puts a crease at the edge, and then it broke the shielding, and enough moisture and everything comes up from the tire right there, and it just coats in there. And as soon as that shielding breaks on the wire, because it's got that tight bend on there, it's like hard. This is really hard, and then this is really loose. The moisture gets in the sheathing, and then you get the corrosion, which eventually breaks off the strands of the wire. So that's just a really bad. That's a bad thing for them to do. And then you have this yellow one, which is a similar situation, But this one is just a big thick wire that has bent back and forth too many times, and it broke the shielding. I wouldn't be surprised if that yellow wire is the reason that this window is slow, because that comes over here to the window switch, and that could be our power feed to this window, and that could be causing voltage drop. So I'm curious to see if we change that when we change that yellow wire, if this window goes faster. Maybe, maybe not. It's always good to have a spare harness or two. So this is a chassis harness for a Jeep Cherokee, and I think this has got the right colors in it right here. And we'll find the right colors so that we can extend those wires using factory colors, and makes it easier for me to get to it. New yellow wire spliced in there. We've got a new speaker wire spliced in there. We got that reconnected. Got the ends on the speaker wire. We're ready to put this back together. I checked a lot of these wires. They look pretty good. It seemed to be only those two that really had the issues. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy back on it, and I'm going to put some of this grease in on the outer of the sheaths, so that as these things move around in there, they don't abrade on each other, and maybe hopefully it kind of keeps any moisture that might get in there from corroding or causing any other issues with it. We'll see. I don't know. This is a common thing that I've had to fix a couple times, so who knows. We might be back in here, but that's it for now. I'm going to throw this stuff back on here, put the rubber boot back on it, close this up, and then we can install the speaker, put the door panel back on, and move on to the next thing. Here we go. Oh, no real change in the window speed, but speaker works now, so. Okay, we got a speaker mounted in there. Seems to be working. I really need to change that CD out to something else, because that's not really how do you eject? Is that it? Come on, out with you. It's not really our style, so this came in the unit. We'll put something a little bit better in there, test that out. But the speaker's working, and close the door up, move on to something else. The ones that don't have the explanation are the worst. I took the panel off, I put the panel back on, and it started working. I don't know. I don't like that. That might mean there's something wrong with the switch or more wrong in the harness. I don't know. That's weird. But it's working now. Doors back together. Does the door lock work? It does. It's locked. Now if I unlock it. Yep. Alright, let's try the key fob. Bingo! We're making good progress. Alright, now see if this window goes up. Oh, that is slow. But it works for now. That probably is not the last time we go into that door, but it's good enough for government work, or this job anyway. Move on to the driver's side and see what's going on over there. Just get that last speaker in there and maybe just fix one more harness, and I don't know. We'll see. I gotta put this kick panel back in. So I'm gonna get to it. Alright, we're on the other side, and I can already kind of tell we're probably gonna be taking this side apart as well, because we've got electrical tape and a half-entered rubber grommet here. I'm afraid of what we're going to find out when we open this guy up. Oh dear, I see electrical tape. Oh dear, there's already a wire crimped off over there. Oh, yeah. Okay, alright, let's go. Let's do it. Whoever was in there should not have been in there. They just went ahead and cut the rubber boot and then tried to put tape over it to latch it back in, and that obviously didn't work very well. But then, of course, there's more signs. So we have, that looks like a lamp cord, and then end crimps, and then another crimp that's not weatherproofed, and then, well, let's just throw some black tape on there and some more black tape. And where's that green wire go? Okay. Yeah, we might not gonna try to salvage this. I think I'm gonna go try to see if I can find another door harness, because that is bad. That's really bad. Even if I did want to fix it, I would take it out of the door to fix it. But if I look up here at this latch, the clip is broken off of it, and this one, the clip is broken and just sunk in. So whoever had this door open before really was not patient and meticulous with their work. So, all right. Let's go find a door harness. Okay, so we got a complete driver's door. We have what looks to be a pretty complete harness here. Rubber boot is okay. Got to get that thing off of there and pull the harness out. So I have been planning to sell the doors from the donor Jeep as a whole, so that I don't have to take it all apart. People will often pay more if it has all the harness and the windows and everything in it. But we're at a spot where we need that harness, and we're going to take it. So whoever buys the doors will have to supply their own harness, or I might pick up a harness somewhere else and we'll see what happens. Anywho, get it out of there and move on. For the viewers out there, it may begin to be apparent just how much of an issue this is with these Jeeps. As we pull the donor harness out from the good working Jeep that was in great shape, we see somebody's been here before, and we see similar issues with repairs and broken wires. This one is not nearly as bad as the other one, but it's obviously been a problem here. So we'll get this opened up and see what we can see. Okay, we've got both harnesses out. We've got them on the bench, and we are in really bad shape. So they're all kinds of messed up in many different places, in many different ways. So I don't have a good option. I don't have a good, easy, quick click it back in there and put it back together. I did find some on eBay for about 60 bucks, but I don't know. They're probably going to have the same thing. I don't know for sure. And the pictures don't really show that section, so they could all be cracked in there and just not even know about it. So I'm going to step away for tonight. Step away from it. Think about it. Come back. I would hate to have to jam a whole bunch of those things in there, make it big and thick, and stuff it back in the door and have to deal with it again, because it's just not a good option. However, there's 20 wires going in there of various thicknesses, and they got to all go into the door. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something, and when I get there, I'll take you along with me. But for right now, that's it. We'll see you guys. Is that it for this video? No, we're going to put this on the shelf, and we'll come back to it when we get that straightened out. If the video takes a little extra time to get out, so be it. So we'll see you guys in a minute. Well, it's days later. I have not figured out what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to grab a big section of this wiring harness, count out 20 or so of them. I'm going to make a nice big splice section in here, and we're going to put a splice down here and a splice down there that's not in the crease of the door, that doesn't reside in this thing. And we're just going to one by one replace all of these with new wires, with a splice in the car and a splice in the door, but the bend is not spliced. So we're just going to stuff a whole bunch of things in there and get to it. So I'll put you guys on time lapse so you can see my misery. Maybe we get it all done tonight, maybe we don't, but here we go. Okay, so I have all the broken ones replaced. The rest of them I've inspected them thoroughly. I think we have the harness where it needs to be able to re-loom it a little bit. I'm gonna basically tighten up this with this part with has all the junctions in it. I'm gonna connect that with tape, and then this part with all the junctions in it, I'm gonna connect that with tape, and then I'm gonna kind of soft loom this with this stuff here, just like I did on the other side of the Jeep. And then I'm going to pack a little bit of dielectric grease in there so that when it moves around, they can kind of slide a little bit, and even if they crack, they can kind of hopefully prevent corrosion. That's the word I'm looking for. And that way, maybe hopefully they stay a little bit softer and don't crack. So, but that's where we're at right now, and I think we are in good shape to throw this back in there and see where we go. So I did mess up. When I was working on it, I thought, oh, I better save this battery, and I took the battery cable off. Well, I was legitimately planning to get this thing inspected, and I had been driving it to try to get the readiness monitors set But because of the fact I took the battery cable off, now all the readiness monitors need to be reset again. So I was kind of like, oh, I'll get this door thing fixed real quick and then I'll take it over this week because I'm finally home, and I had just had a different car over to the shop and I thought, oh, I'll just get this one in there. But we're not gonna do that. So I gotta get this harness back in, and then I'm gonna call it, but I don't think I'm gonna get that done tonight. I gotta get this harness back in. We'll go from there, one thing at a time. Well, it's the next night because time goes by and stuff, and I've got the harness back in the door. It's kind of fished through, but everything's not really plugged in yet. I'm gonna plug it all in, test it, make sure it works, and see if we were successful. And if we were successful, then I'm gonna put the door back together. And if we weren't successful, then I gotta take it all back out again. Well, the harness is in and we are good to go. So we just have to tighten this up and put it all back together. Right?
Yep.
So we're going to do that. We'll bring you back when we're done. Okay, so before I go and put this door back together, I'm going to fix one thing that I've noticed about this. You might have noticed it earlier in the video, but when I roll this window up and it gets to the top, it makes a really bad noise down there. And it also does that at the bottom. So that's a sign that this regulator, this motor gearbox that controls the window, is going bad. And on any other window, that would be, wait till it breaks, right? But on this one, because it has this automatic switch here, you can put it up, but then when you want it to go down, you can just well, you're supposed to be able to click it and it runs. Apparently the automatic's not working. But if it did work, it would just run that thing until it popped. So I will replace it. Maybe we replace this switch too, because the auto thing isn't working. But anyway, so gonna change this out. I was gonna change it out with that one in there, but I also have this one out here, so I took this one and I put it on the bench and I tested it and it is good to go. So it's almost embarrassing. It's definitely embarrassing how much crap for these things I have laying around. But that's perfectly good. That one works, goes up and down. We're gonna put in that door. Here we go. All right, well, there you have it. Door panels are back on, speakers are in, front speakers are in, all the door functions work, even the mirrors. The window goes up and down. No more of that funky clicking. And I did get the auto switch to work a couple of times. But I'm not worried about that. I can always replace that switch later on if we need to. Everything here is functional, including the lock and unlock. Everything is back in, and actually, it actually sounds pretty good too. So, and I changed the CD out to something that's less offensive to me when it comes on. So that is That is good. It is back in drivable state now. So I keep this battery hooked up. I can tighten those terminals down, and I can start running it now to try to get the readiness monitors set. And that means we can get it inspected. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for stopping out and watching the craziness happens around here. I appreciate everybody that's come along with us as we built this thing. We're coming really close to the end now of the big project. It is basically as good as these darn old 25-year-old Jeeps are going to get. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you guys on the next one.